We've visited this city many times before, but now we are traveling back with a brand new expression. So my name is Mary Wilson. I'm a senior model designer here at the LEGO Group, and I'm super happy to announce the the newest addition to LEGO architecture, New York, New York, the Big Apple. So, this model is a fresh expression, and we've really embraced the well-known nickname by creating this abstracted composition placed against a big apple containing the night sky. In this model, we could only highlight a few of the major landmarks that populate New York City. Starting over here, we have the Empire State Building. We have the One World Trade Center almost peeking over its shoulder. Down in front, we have the Guggenheim Museum, and then the front steps of the Met. In between, we have Central Park, which both of these museums actually face Central Park. And over here, we are able to include the Brooklyn Bridge, which connects Brooklyn to the island of Manhattan. And then, of course, we have the Statue of Liberty, which we've depicted here as a minifigure, making this only the second LEGO architecture set to contain a full minifigure. With this model, we decided to keep it as a very new color palette for LEGO architecture. So we stuck with this sort of bluish gray scale. Though I'm sure you can see that there are small pops of yellow. We actually were able to recolor the LEGO minifigure roller skate to be the small taxis that fill the entire city. I've packed this full as much as possible with Easter eggs and nods to the city. And I hope that if you get a chance to build it, you can appreciate everything that we've been able to put in, from the smallest taxi to the big apple. So, yeah, if there's any questions. Yeah.
Could you talk about the backdrop and where the idea for that came from?
Yeah, I would say this may be a very literal approach. The Big Apple is a super iconic name, and people immediately know what you're referring to. And we kind of wanted to grab the iconography and place it with the skyline, to make an interesting new composition.
So was that always part of the design? Was that like the initial idea for it?
Yeah.
With the choice of white for the buildings, is that a callback to the architecture studios? Which is,
Not specifically architecture studio, but we do know that architecture, like real life architecture models, are often depicted in white, and it allows it to show the detail. And with this composition, played around so much with color, but this really made what we wanted to stand out. Yeah.
Is the apple included, like interweaved with the build, where you can take it off, or is it?
It is. You build it separately, and then you put it on afterwards, and then you lock it in. So
Okay.
I'm not able to take it off, but as you see, we spent so much time on the building flow to make it natural. But it's almost like two separate components that are then combined together. Yeah.
The blue-grey buildings, are they like based in reality at all, or is it more just a kind of shaping?
This gradient of blue-gray buildings are mostly to populate the city, to give it that busy and bustling feel that we know New York has, without being any specific building.
I feel like this is one of the most interesting architecture sets in the sense that it deviates so much from what we expect from the architecture line, almost becoming like a hybrid between art and architecture. Could you speak to the decision to move away from what we're used to with very realistic depictions of buildings and go into a more abstract expression like this?
Yeah. In a way, I think we want to open up architecture to many more people. We want to make a LEGO set for everyone, right? And so I hope that this has maybe a new target audience, and maybe the previous lovers of architecture will still know and appreciate it. But I also very much saw this as, almost an art piece, and almost like the apple is the canvas, and then the composition was so important for this. So I really appreciated that this had a good angle. Though I will say, it is very true to the architecture line still, in the detail in each one of the landmarks that we've chosen.
It's awesome. I live in New York. This is going to the center of my apartment.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm Greg Watts Magazine.
When you designed the set, Barry, did you have any other kind of ideas for what the expression could be? Any other different ways to reflect the city? Like, did you explore different avenues?
We knew that Apple was going to be a part of it. That was the initial vision. But the way that the city would be attached to it, we explored so many different ideas from being like an arch of the city and abstracting it more to being like a full like half circle to just we have so much time in development that we can really nail down the form and composition. So, yes, we explored a lot. Yeah.
How did you go about choosing the buildings that made it into this, and were there any that you wanted to include but you just couldn't fit in?
I mean, New York City has countless like iconic landmarks, so of course we would want to include as much as possible. But we have a great range of well-known historic ones and also some newer ones. And there are a few of the, like Brooklyn Bridge, we've depicted sort of in some models, but this is like the first time we get to really feature it. So this is kind of a nice balance of things that we've shown in the past, but also an opportunity to showcase new things as well.
I can't see from here, but I believe those are the wizarding wands. Is that going to take away the ability to hang it on the wall? Is it wizarding wands poke through, like the little white dots?
Oh, these are a new star print, actually. But in general, it's not made to hang on the wall, although I'm sure crafty people can modify it to do so. But it is a shelf display item. Yeah.
Can I see the back?
So the back is mostly structural, I will say, but my favorite Easter egg, which I'll show now, if you can possibly see it, is that I've hidden a tiny New York City subway underneath these arches. So as much as possible, I've tried to incorporate fun where I can.
What kind of building do we have in front of the middle? Is like the museum?
Yes, so this, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, it actually extends, it's super wide building, but we chose to include possibly the most iconic slice of it, is the front steps that has so many and so many movies and TV show backdrops. And we place it here next to the Guggenheim with.
It's nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yes.
The little ice cream pieces and spiky guys down the bottom, are those meant to represent trees?
Yes, those are the trees of Central Park. And this ice cream multiple scooped one is a new color as well for the trees. Yeah.
I think you've mentioned this a little bit already, but I'd love to know more about the choices of colours here and how you ended up with those gradients. Were there other colours that were considered as well?
Yes, so color exploration was huge, but we really wanted to almost have like a sophisticated feel and then merge that with the playful, I guess, Lego style that we can do. So with that, we wanted it to be a very limited color palette. We initially were trying it just with white, black, and our two gray colors. We have sort of like a silver, trying those as well. But it didn't give a lot of option for depth. So that's why we introduced like the dark blue and the sand blue. That was kind of an in-between tone and allowed like it to actually feel like a gradient instead of very stark differences. And yeah, we played with like the buildings being a more realistic color to what they are in real life. But again, it just stands out so much more, and what we want to pop pops. So this is very good stuff.